What's up, Ninja Nerds? In this video today, we have our amazing guest, John. He has an unbelievable story that we want to share with you guys today. If you guys want to know more about his story, he has an amazing book, completely, truly inspiring. It's called The Boy from Baby House 10. We'll have links down in the description box below where you guys can go and purchase this. Just wanted to give you a quick little kind of synopsis of this unbelievably inspiring book. It's about John's life, the boy from Baby House 10, whose childhood, but not his will to survive, was cruelly taken away from him. Once inside the state-run orphanage, he entered a nightmare world where he was not to leave for more than 8 years. Confined to one room with a group of silent children, he was ignored by most of the staff and labeled an imbecile and ineducable by the authorities. He was consigned for a time to a mental asylum where he lived in a high-sided, iron-barred crib, lying in a pool of his own waste on a locked ward surrounded by screaming children and psychotic adults. But even these dire surroundings didn't destroy the spirit of this remarkable little boy. Vanya grew into an intellectually curious, verbally complex youngster who reached out to everyone around him. So I really hope that if you guys please check out this book, read this book. It definitely will be an amazing read and leave you probably in tears, but inspired at the end of it. So please check that book out. So I just wanted to start this interview off with John. Kind of wanted to ask him some questions. So John has cerebral palsy, and one of the things that if you guys read his book, he faced a lot of challenges. Particularly, he was abandoned by his mother and placed into a Russian orphanage, or as they call them, baby houses. And I just wanted to know if, John, you could give kind of a little backstory about what the challenges that you faced coming from whenever you were placed in this orphanage until you guys kind of came to the U.S.
The challenges that I faced in Russia was at 18 months I was abandoned. And then I went to the orphanage at 18 months, Baby House 10. And then what happened was I didn't really see the outside world till I was age 4. And then I had really no interaction. I was keeping myself busy by teaching somebody else to talk, but I learned how to talk through listening to the adults at the baby house. And that's how I picked up the perfect Russian language. And then at age 6, I went in front of a board of doctors, and they were asking me questions like, what is a tree? What color does this stop? What does the traffic light turn? What color do they turn? And I had no clue because I had no simulation. Yeah. I had no idea of what the outside world really was. Because I've been locked up in a dark room. I had nobody to talk to, nobody to explain to me, okay, this is the world. And then they said, okay, he's mentally retarded, he can't do anything. We sentenced him to basically a death sentence. He'll be going to the mental asylum, fill a monkey, and he'll die there. And I was there for 9 months, and I was so drugged up. I was so weak. I was basically starved to death, and it was unbearable. And then, by the grace of God, just thanks to Alan, really, to exposing the atrocities that little kids were going through. And that's how I got out, and I thank God for Alan's help.
And Alan, he was a
journalist for the Daily Telegraph.
Wow.
He had been assigned to cover the turmoil in Russia when communism was collapsing. And the mental asylum and orphanage is from a Stalinistic era. Stalin had started the system.
So that was unbelievably that was an unbelievably powerful kind of message, and just
Thanks.
a lot of things that you went through. I feel like it would have broken most people, and so just I want to say thank you just for taking the time to explain that. And,
you're welcome. I appreciate it.
One of the things that I wanted to take the time to do is cerebral palsy is a condition that there comes a lot of complications, a lot of different things that require particularly like more interdisciplinary management. And so some of the things that I wanted to talk about is cerebral palsy. There's a very specifically with spastic cerebral palsy challenges in mobility, and being able to get from point A to point B. And so what I wanted to know is what were some of the particular interventions or therapies that you've gone through that you found benefit from, whether that be PT, whether that be maybe surgical procedures, medical management, whatever it is.
PT was definitely a help to stretch the limbs. The hamstrings get tight.
Yeah.
The whole body is tight.
Yeah.
All the time. I have a little hypertension now because I think that's caused from the CP. I think, and I've really, I have the aches and pains every day.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I get up from a chair or the bed, it's like, oh, the back, and it's like you have to really, and then I have to keep moving. So you can't sit in one area too long, and I try to do the exercises. I try to move as much as possible. I'm even trying to half the time I'm trying to fidget in the chair because to make sure that I don't get too stiff.
So PT was pretty beneficial for you, it seems. You did see a lot of benefit from that. Any other therapies that you saw a little bit more benefit from?
Not really. There was a thing tried with Botox, but that was a dismal failure. And the person that was doing it had no compassion. So it was like, okay, if you're gonna be that way, I'm not gonna go through this crap again. Because on top of the Botox, I had already big night splints.
Yeah.
They were as heavy as they can be and I had if you're trying to turn to shift in bed, it's like, okay, the whole body has to go, and I have to watch that I don't fall out of bed.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, night splints, no. And so I've figured out ways I usually do a bath, and I usually do warm water to try to relax
the muscles. Okay.
To relax the muscles. And I do exercising at home.
Stretches,
and
exercises,
then,
okay.
Yeah, and I do several things, and I try to, and I'm noticing that my left side is getting better, but my right side, from the tightness, is getting weaker, so I try to focus on that more, because I notice that sometimes I have a hard time moving my arm back and forth, or trying to because my right side is the weakest.
So one of the other things I think that is a challenge, particularly with cerebral palsy, is getting from point A to point B. Sometimes it requires particular devices and assistance devices to get you from point A to point B. What kind of devices do you use and that you find most benefit
What kind of, if it's anything if I'm traveling anywhere long term, I have somebody push me in my wheelchair.
Okay.
I do have a power chair,
Okay.
but I do not use that as much as maybe someday I will use that more. But I try to really, if it's nothing that's long distance, or if I'm like at an event and I'm in a wheelchair, I try to be out of it as much as possible.
Okay.
We will actually sometimes, if I'm at anywhere, we'll ask for an extra seat. So I can move from the chair to another seat, because sitting in a chair for hours, it's not comfortable.
Right.
And it's not easy.
Yeah.
But if I'm not traveling anywhere that's long, I use the walker. I only use the walker pretty much when I'm not being assisted with the crutches, because I do have lobster and crutches.
Right.
But I don't go anywhere that there is somebody with arm's reach, because I do fall a lot. So that's another issue. I had a spill one time where I went backwards. I hit my head on a tub and I got knocked out. So that, I do get concerned about falling. So I've learned tricks to kind of pivot in a way that I don't do as much damage.
Reduce that risk, yeah.
Damage because I've hit my head quite a bit. So I've tried to figure out, okay, this is how maybe I shouldn't try to stop myself before I break anything.
I know that mobility is definitely a challenge with cerebral palsy. My roommate in college actually had cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And one of the things that he faced was just having to walk from one end of the campus all the way to the other end. But one of the things that he just never complained. He always said that, he doesn't want to be treated any differently. He wants to be thought of as everyone else. And so he didn't make a thing about it. He didn't want any pity. He just wanted to do what he needed to do and be treated like everyone else. And
and that's the way you have to be. Yeah. You can't say, oh, woe is me, I have this disability.
Yeah.
No, because you're not gonna get anywhere if you just think, oh, I'm disabled. So what? You're disabled. You're not gonna. How are you gonna get on with your life if you're just gonna keep
using those excuses?
Using those excuses.
Well, that's. I mean, honestly, I tip my hat to you for all of these things that you face, especially with this, and it's unbelievable how positive you are and how you don't let these things alter your quality of life. I commend that.
And there are challenges because the brain, I have a hard time sometimes reading. Reading sometimes is like torture. So sometimes, a lot of times, I don't want to do that. Sometimes what I prefer is audio, because audio I can relax, I can hear it, I can get the information, I can really enjoy without screaming and wanting to throw the book across the room.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, okay, you're stumbling on this word, stop it.
And that leads me to my next question for you is that, one of the other things with cerebral palsy that people face is not just the fact of mobility, but sometimes because it is kind of a neurodevelopmental disorder, there can be issues with brain development, particularly like cognitive functions and intellect. And I know that some of the things that you told us about your life story is that people told you that you would never be educated, that you were mentally retarded, or that you wouldn't be able to accomplish things that other people could in the educational realm. But you went to prove everybody wrong. Right? So you came to America, you went from speaking Russian to learning how to speak English, which is amazing.
Actually, and I'm actually right now trying to relearn my Russian back, so it's
even better, right?
So it's a challenge within itself, because it's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Because I know some of the words, but I don't know all of them. So but somebody told me once, a language expert said, you have it in there. You just have to reawaken the language.
Right.
And the thing with cerebral palsy is that you just need to find ways to accommodate.
Yeah.
And
so that's what I was going to ask you. You know, with the cognitive challenges, the intellect and stuff like that, were there any particular like educational supports or advocacy on your part that helped to enhance your educational experience? Because you graduated from high school, you went to college, you got your degree in from Penn State, right? And what was it in again?
Corporate communication.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And then on top of that, you even went into you became an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
And that's pretty impressive. Not many people do that. That's an amazing feat.
It's a challenging feat. It's only, I think I saw the latest, only like 5% ever make it.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. So did you have any like educational support systems or people who advocated for you to help?
My mom was a big advocate for me.
Yeah.
She really helped. And she was a school psychologist. She really helped me when the school district was saying, no, we don't want to do this. And then my mom was like, well, you have to.
Yeah.
And having somebody that's an advocate and that cares for you, in my case, my mom loved me. She knew what I needed. She knew what I had to have.
And that's crucial to anybody with this kind of yeah.
She had experience with kids with CP because she actually had intern with United Cerebral Palsy. She had volunteered with them. She had multiple experiences with kids with disabilities, so she knew what she was doing. And then I really started coming to my own really in college.
Yeah.
I really started to feel like there were a couple accommodations, like where I would take tests, who would give them to me, but the
For the
material,
most part, you were independent, right? You kind of were able to do these things
and then
without
I had
any...
a note taker that would take notes in class, and then, but none of the material was diminished. It was the same thing that the kids were getting. I would just have it like for testing. I would have a little bit more time.
Right, and I think that just goes to show that just because you place like this diagnosis of cerebral palsy, it doesn't mean that you can't go on to do things intellectually or educationally like anybody else can. It's not going to change your quality of life and the things that you go on to accomplish as your evidence of that. So that's pretty amazing. The other question I had for you is that people with cerebral palsy often kind of can struggle with speech difficulties, so kind of that dysarthric speech, and sometimes, again, that could be related to the underlying developmental disorder of the brain. For you, did you receive any particular types of therapy, or did you benefit from it?
I didn't receive like any speech therapy. There are some words that are like, okay, can't pronounce, but I try to work on that.
On your own?
Yeah.
That's impressive too. Yeah, that's cool.
Sometimes people say I talk too low, so I try to project more.
Yeah. Well, I think that you're doing great without really any other kind of outside assistance. I think that's impressive.
I've had I have a writing device called Dragon Naturally Speaking for writing papers and doing that other stuff for just what I had to do for my internship. So but I really consider myself pretty much normal because I've done camping, I've done rock climbing, I've done numerous things. Like sometimes my mom was like, "What were you doing?" Because some of the pictures she would get, it was like, I said, "I wanted to try it. I wanted to
see if I can do it.
Yeah, I canoed.
You did it all.
I did it all.
You didn't let your condition define
Right.
you. Yeah.
I went in the woods with the walker. I fell, got up, brushed off. That was it.
I think that leads me into like another question, because like me personally, like hearing your story, it's difficult. It brings like, it chokes me up a little bit. It brings a little bit of tears to my eyes, because you went through, you know, the things that like no human should ever have to go through, and if they ever did, it would break, I feel like, most people.
Right.
How did you ever face any kind of issues with depression, or just felt like, you know, your diagnosis and the things that you went through?
No.
No.
I never faced depression because I knew somebody was looking out for me. I really did, because I knew that something was really looking out for me, and I knew that God was really looking out for me, because I was like, okay, sometimes like I try to ask God for answers, and sometimes I don't get them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, okay, have patience. But that's the thing is, you can get depressed, because how are you going to move on to do what's next?
Yeah.
Because you don't, to me, I don't have time to be depressed. I have to move on to my next project.
Right.
I have to move, I have to do this, I have to do, you have to live your life as it is.
Yeah.
You can't.
Life is short.
Right.
Right. Live it to the best possible way you can. Yeah.
And okay, you have limitations. Figure them out. See how you're gonna do it. See what can you do to make it better.
Right.
You can't be depressed all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable that you think that way. I think that that's amazing. I think that that's an inspiration, not just for.
But that's how I had to survive.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to think positive. I couldn't be depressed.
Yeah. Or you might not have made
Trust
it
me,
where you are today.
my mom has said to me, "How the heck do you do it?"
Yeah, it's unbelievable, man.
How the heck do you do it? Because she'll look at something and say, "I'm surprised you're not going nuts." She said, when she actually read the book, she was like, "How the heck did you survive that?"
Exactly. It's exactly what I felt. Yeah.
And Mom said to me, "Okay, I know how you survived through God's help." And that's the thing that really helped through that.
That's amazing. Honestly, that's so amazing. One of the things I think is also kind of important is, you obviously you have this extremely positive attitude. You're not going to let anything hold you back from doing what you want to do and what you love to do. What are some of your goals and aspirations that you really want to accomplish in your life?
I would like to, I would like to, since I have a little bit more time now to work on film projects, I would like to really start doing my own discovering, doing PR work for like nonprofits, trying to set that up myself. And you know, I know what the base is because of having communication degree and having some marketing ideas, so I know how to do it. So I'm going to try to do that a little bit more, and try to really make a niche for myself and try to really work from how I can make myself really happy.
That's amazing. Honestly, I think that's one of the most important things in life is to do what you love. I feel like if you're doing what, if your job makes up most of your life, and if you're doing what you believe is great work, then it's the true meaning of happiness. So that's awesome.
And I look at it this way. God will tell me what He wants me to do. I really look at that, and God will guide me to what. I don't know what the next chapter is.
Right.
God has provided me for now with a part-time job, so I'm just taking one day at a time to really thank God and say, okay, you want me at this level right now, so just stay.
You got me here. You're going to
Yeah.
get me through the rest of
Right.
it. Yeah, that's
Right.
awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. So I heard a little bit through the grapevine that you have a true love of baseball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of the? So you have a lot of hobbies, from what I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Eagle Scouts is a big one.
Right.
What baseball team do you like?
I like the New York Yankees.
Ah, that's okay. Everybody has their team.
Oh,
but
sorry.
No, I like the Phillies, but it's okay. So tell me a little bit about like what made you truly love baseball. What about it that?
I really love the game, and I love the simplicity of how American it was, and how you could just enjoy watching something that people can unite
Yeah.
together with. Pro football I can leave or take. I like college football more.
Okay.
I like the Eagles, but I like college football.
Yeah. Penn State.
Penn State, of
Yeah,
course.
we are Penn State.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We are,
That's so cool, man.
and that's, I'm excited to see where my next chapter will be.
Yeah. So John, I think, with coming to the end of the interview, because it has been an amazing opportunity to talk with you. You're extremely inspiring. You stay so positive.
Thank you for asking me to do this. I'm happy to do it.
Oh, we were honestly, it was like an absolute honor. I couldn't wait to meet you because, hearing about your life story, it was truly inspiring. And I just wanted to take the time to kind of pass off some wisdom that if you could give the Ninja Nerd community, maybe there's people out there who are suffering with a condition like you, or have a similar condition, or maybe they just want to know a little bit more about some advice that you could provide. If there was one piece of wisdom that you could kind of impart on the Ninja Nerd community, what would you say that could be?
I would say that that there are going to be challenges in life. You have to think positive. You have to have goals in your life to reach and to aspire to. But approach things with honesty, humility, and faith in yourself.
Yeah,
Really.
That's amazing, dude.
Really.
Honestly, I truly enjoyed talking with you.
Thank you.
Ninja Nerds, I really, really want, and I implore you guys, take the time to really go down in the description box below. And we're going to have links to this book. I'm telling you, it'll change your life. It'll give you just an idea of what the challenges that John faced and how he overcame them. So please, please go down and check that out. So again, John, thanks for coming here with us today.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate the time. Ninja Nerds, we love you, we thank you, and as always, until next time.